Luke Fickell's team made an incredible statement in 2021 by becoming the first Group of 5 team to make the college football playoff, and now they have to do a little bit of reloading. They have to do maybe even a little bit of regrouping. This is a team that still has a ton of talent. Luke Fickell's been recruiting phenomenally for the Bearcats, but this is a group that is got a target on their back and now needs to replace some key players, both on offense and defense. They lose a ton on defense, and they lose some talented players on offense. However, there's talent returning that makes fans really excited about what this team can do in 2022. The 10 guys that we're going to talk about today, it was tough to put a list together because there's so many good players returning, even with all that they lose. So let's dive into what makes this group so good and why it's going to be fun to see what they can do to repeat their success in 2021. Josh WHYLE maybe doesn't have the best stats, but I think that he's due for a breakout season for the Bearcats, and he's just overall a solid player that's going to be really fun to watch for Cincinnati. 332 yards last year, 12.8 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns. Now, they do lose Desmond Ridder. That hurts. That's going to hurt for sure. But whoever wins the starting job, whether that's Ben Bryant, whether that's Evan Prater, one of them is going to have a great option in Josh WHYLE. And I think that he deserves to be at the top because he's been consistent and they know what they're going to get for him. And there's one more season to prove why he's one of the better tight ends in all of college football. There are some veterans that were playing linebacker last year, and now they are gone. Darian Beavers is gone. Joel DeBlanco is gone. That leaves openings for guys like DeShawn Pace to step up. Now, DeShawn Pace as kind of a rotation player, 95 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions. This dude did everything, and I think that he might be the best of everybody that we've seen, including DeBlanco and Beavers. You look at what he's capable of doing. He's an athletic player who had, he probably could add some size to his frame and be even better. But this is an incredibly athletic linebacker, and you saw that. We look at the 4 interceptions he had. He was getting into space, getting in the passing lanes, and then when he got the football in his hands, you kind of saw that athlete in him. You saw him take off, and he looked really comfortable. But he's also comfortable in space trying to make tackles. And you look at the film, what he's capable of doing. He knows how to sniff out plays, and obviously Cincinnati had an incredible group that makes life very easy, but some of those veterans are gone. So one of the bigger challenges for him is, can he be a leader in a group that definitely needs it this year? Cincinnati's offensive line is going to be one of the best in the entire country. Center Jake RENFRO is back, and that's huge. We mentioned the quarterback position is going to have a new starter, and it's going to be someone that Ben Bryant is familiar with after, he was at Cincinnati, transferred to Eastern Michigan, and now he's back at Cincinnati. So RENFRO should be someone that he's familiar with. Maybe that helps him in the quarterback battle. But Prater also is familiar with him from playing last year. So they both have that familiarity, and that's huge in terms of communication along the offensive line with your quarterback, trying to get everybody in the right position, you making the right reads, making the right checks. Jake RENFRO is one of the best centers in college football, and it's huge to have him back. While Myjai Sanders might be gone, Malik Vann does return, and I'm really excited to see what he can do as a starter. 33 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks as kind of that rotation player means that he has room to grow still and room to show more what he can do, more to dominate and really wreak havoc on the teams that they face. Malik Vann is great around the edge. I think he has good strength on the edge as well. And it's going to be fun to see a group that's essentially going to look new, but it's a bunch of players that played a lot last year and saw plenty of time. So it's not like you're bringing in new faces. You're just bringing in new starters is all. Another pass catching option for the offense is Trey Tucker, the speedster. Had 426 yards last year, only 12.5 yards per catch for someone as fast as him. I'd really like to see him get that number up because he's capable of doing that. He's also a monster returner, so don't kick him the ball, basically. There are a number of teams that found that out the hard way. But if you're able to get his speed out in space, there's a new offensive coordinator, so they're going to probably try some different things than what Mike Denbrock did. But Trey Tucker is a guy to definitely keep an eye on in terms of watching the offense. Juwan Briggs, the former Virginia transfer, returns to lead things up in the middle. Curtis Brooks is gone, so that's going to leave some big shoes to fill. And I think that Briggs can do it. 42 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks last year. That again, That's same as Malik Van. That's kind of as that rotation player. Wasn't really a starter. He wasn't getting the majority of the snaps. Now he gets a chance to be that starter to get those snaps that he deserves. Maybe his numbers go up a little bit, but he is someone that can definitely dominate even if he's not showing up in the box score. Josh Wiley's partner in crime, Leonard Taylor, is back again for another year. The two tight ends have been just, it feels like they've been here forever, but I think that this year's the year that they really break out in terms of pass catching. We know what they're capable of as blockers, and we know what they're capable of as pass catchers, but it would just be nice to see them get the ball a little bit more. I think that losing Desmond Ridder obviously hurts, but now you get kind of a fresh start with a new quarterback. Maybe you find more chemistry with them. A guy like Leonard Taylor is a big body tight end, a big body pass catcher that you're going to want to utilize more and more, especially maybe in the red zone. But I think that that's something that Cincinnati fans should be excited to watch is how do the tight ends get utilized more in this new offense, and how does that help the offense looking to, get because again, the quarterback's going to be new, the running back's going to be new. So the only thing that's terms of stability and consistency is the tight ends and the offensive line. So you have to lean on them early to let them kind of lead you to where you're gonna go. And guys like Leonard Taylor are going to be huge to have returning. We talked about the secondary. Losing Ahmad Garner was inevitable. We all knew that was going to happen. Losing Kobe Bryant, we all knew that was going to happen. But the cupboard's not bare. This is a group that still has some good talent returning. Arquon Bush is back. Now, whether or not he plays nickel or if he's playing more of a corner this year, that'll be interesting to see. If they do push him out the corner, he still can play nickel if needed. It gives other guys a chance to step up, but Arquon Bush had a pretty solid year last year. 40 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 6 passes defended, 3 interceptions. Teams did test him quite a bit last year. And obviously when you're playing the nickel, it's a really hard position to play. But Arquon Bush is experienced. He's a veteran who knows what he's doing. And, he's someone who can make some serious hits too. This isn't a guy that you just mess with and expect to just get away with things pretty often. He's the guy who knows how to play the game the right way. He thrives, and then you can tell that he listens to what Luke Fickell has to say because they breed a mentality. They produce this mindset that this defense is going to be better than everybody else. And a guy like Arquon Bush, even if he gets tested quite a bit or gets beaten, he's going to come with the same tenacity, the same intensity every single play. A player that I think could have a breakout season is safety Javon Hicks. This is a guy who has been kind of went from backup to starter, and I think that with everybody talking about Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant, you kind of forgot that Javon Hicks was there. And you look at his stats. Just go look at his career stats. He knows how to make plays on the football. He is a ball hawk with great hands. He knows how to pick off the football and get the ball back to his offense. And he's going to do that again this year. I think now with teams maybe testing the corners a little bit more, whether Arquon Bush is there or not. I think Javon Hicks being that safety net over the top is something that's going to be underrated for Cincinnati and something that could be huge for this defense as well. The linebackers are going to be tough. We talked about DESHAWN Pace. His brother, Ivan Pace Jr., comes from Miami of Ohio, but it's Ty Van Fossen that I think is going to be the one that steps up. You look at his year last year, 70 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss. Again, kind of as that rotation player because Beavers and DeBlanco were solidified as starters. Now other people get a chance to step up. Now, I think Pace and Van Fossen will kind of rotate, and maybe Wilson Huber and Ivan Pace Jr. will rotate as well. But, I don't really know what's going to happen there. If they can get all 4 of them on the field every single play, that's going to be huge. That's a great experience. That's something that would be, you want to put your best players as much on the field as much as possible, and putting Ty Van Fossen on the field is probably a top priority. I think that has the most experience of all these guys, and he has the stats to go with it, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Cincinnati is going to be good again. It's just a matter of can they defend their crown in the AAC. I don't know if a college football playoff berth is going to happen again. So many things needed to happen for them just to make it last year. But this is still a talented group. They're not going anywhere. Luke Fickell's been doing a great job of recruiting. He's still on campus somehow. And for now, they're focused on retaining that AAC crown.